Good evening. Yes, we are focusing on New York tonight. In the past few minutes, Donald Trump has arrived ahead of his court appearance tomorrow. The former US president flew out of West Palm Beach this afternoon. Let me show you the pictures of him stepping out of his plane as it landed at LaGuardia Airport in the last few minutes. There he is with his team in tow. I remember he's being looked after by the Secret Service on this trip. They've been deeply involved in the arrangements of this trip to New York. The former president not expected to stay very long in the city. Immediately after tomorrow's court appearance, he'll be returning to Florida, where he'll be addressing supporters on Tuesday night. This evening, he'll be spending the time at Trump Tower, his home on Fifth Avenue, and these are the live pictures. Somewhere down there is the motorcade that is making its way to central Manhattan. Our panel this evening, we've got the former UK ambassador to the United States, Sir Kim Darroch, Tom Peck, sketch writer for The Independent, also with us. Thank you for being with us, gentlemen. Let me bring you in, Sir Kim, if I may, because you've had your own history with Donald Trump. I was saying earlier in the programme that there's something that jars about this. These are the sort of pictures, the sort of coverage that we would reserve for a president arriving in a foreign country. And here we have an ordinary civilian, a former president, arriving in New York for an indictment. Doug High compared it to O.J. Simpson, and I suppose it's on that level, isn't it?
I completely agree, Christian, that it looks strange. I mean, I can't remember quite how many cars in the motorcade, but it's getting close to double figures. And this is, as you say, a former president who is turning up to be arraigned in court. So quite that level of both media interest in it, that I suppose is a huge story, but quite that level of sort of motorcades and Secret Service and all this stuff. It does look a bit strange, considering actually what is happening, which is the first president in history to be indicted.
I wonder if you have your own personal reflection on how the Manhattan District Attorney might be feeling at the moment. He's in the spotlight. Donald Trump's put it there. You've been in that position before when he wanted you out of the embassy in Washington. How does it feel when Donald Trump turns his ire on you?
Look, I think I knew the moment that my confidential reporting leaked that I would be a target. And this is a guy who doesn't sort of, he lets you go both barrels straight away, and it's going to be vicious, and it's usually done by Twitter. So I was expecting it, but nevertheless, it's not life's nicest experience. This prosecutor will have been working on this case, certainly for months, maybe for years. And he will know what is coming, but he still may not be quite prepared for the viciousness with which he will be treated, both by former president himself and by the president's supporters. It's rough, but as others have said in the last 24 hours, justice for all. I mean, no one is above the law. And if there is a case to be answered and it's a felony, then Trump needs to answer it.
Tom Peck.
Hiya.
I wonder what you make of this. Have you been watching it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they are remarkable pictures, aren't they? But what I guess is strange is, I mean, I wasn't around for Nixon, but I suspect his opponents felt elation when they watched his downfall. Whereas you watch this, and frankly, you feel trepidation, don't you? But Trump has been hopefully...
So you're in the camp that it's not voyeuristic. It is a moment, you think, and that's why we're so gripped by it. Because I must admit, I am intrigued by the whole circus that's around it.
Well, Trump is an ex-president, so he has Secret Service detail for the rest of his days. And naturally, any helicopter pictures of anything always add a sense of drama or a sense of suspicion to almost any occasion, and that's clearly what's happening here. But it's certainly a moment. It would only not be a moment if Trump was no longer a force in US politics, and he obviously is. He obviously wields immense influence over, as we've said before in this program, a majority of the Republican Party, Republican voters who still believe the election was stolen. Now, the only way to fix that problem is for Trump to go gentle into that good night. And the more grievance that is, the more opportunity for grievance that is supplied as ammunition to his rather unhinged base, the harder that problem becomes to solve.
So, Kim, we have to presume, we have to say that he is the Republican frontrunner, and he is the most likely person to come out of the primaries with the ticket for 2024. He's 26 points ahead of Ron DeSantis. There's no sign that the primary voters, the base of the party, is going to turn against him. We could be in a situation where the American voters are choosing next year between Joe Biden, whose popularity is rooted at 38%, and a president who is facing a prison sentence.
We could, in the worst case analysis, we could, Christian, you're right. I mean, I'll just make 2 points. One is, this is still extraordinarily early days. And what I remember from my time in Washington is how much those opinion polls go up and down, just how volatile they are, and how they seem to reflect a public opinion that remembers things for about 2 weeks and then moves on. Now, Trump has gone up from 8 points ahead of DeSantis to 26 points ahead of DeSantis in about a week and a half, and that's pretty extraordinary. But what can go up can also come down. So let's see how things unfold. You know, the first primary isn't until January next year, so there's a long, long way to go. Good 9 months to go. We actually get anyone casting a vote, and a lot can happen in that time. And you know, this Stormy Daniels case, first cab off the rank, at least 3 more with the Georgia case and the potential federal indictment over his inciting the 6th January invasion of Capitol, and the documents down at Mar-a-Lago. So there's a long, long way to go. Opinion polls can go up and down. Let's see where we are by next year.